They came looking for someone to blame, someone to tear down, point fingers at, and turn into a cautionary tale. You were the easy target, the one who didn't fit the mold, who asked too many questions, who refused to shrink. They expected you to fold under pressure, to break quietly, to disappear. But instead, you turned every insult into energy. You didn't retreat. You performed. They wanted a scandal, but you gave them a spectacle. You took their ridicule and built a stage. You transformed rejection into momentum. You didn't just survive the storm. You became the lightning. Now the same people who doubted you are stuck watching your rise, unable to look away. You weren't the breakdown. You were the breakthrough. And no matter how they try to rewrite the story, they can't erase the fact that you turned their mockery into your masterpiece. If this message speaks to you, hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 1,000 subscribers, and leave a comment with their names to mark the moment you stopped apologizing for your power and started owning the spotlight.
From the very beginning, they painted you as the antagonist, the problem to be fixed, the voice too loud, the presence too overwhelming. They framed you as the villain in their story, assigning blame with eager fingers pointing your way. It was easier to cast you out than to look inward, to control you rather than understand you. But what they failed to realize was that villains in their tales often have the power to flip the narrative. Instead of accepting the role they forced upon you, you took the pen and rewrote the script entirely. You refused to be a shadow in their story. You became the author of your own destiny. Each page turned with a fiery determination to transform pain into power and isolation into influence. They expected you to wither away quietly, but you chose to roar louder than ever. When the world labels you a villain, it's often because you're challenging the status quo, pushing boundaries they aren't ready to cross. You embraced this role, not as a label of shame, but as a call to action. You redefined what it means to be too much by owning it unapologetically and making it your strength. That narrative, it's yours to control now, and you're rewriting it with bold strokes. The beauty of rewriting your story is the freedom to build a new identity, one rooted in resilience and authenticity. You no longer let their judgments dictate your value. Every insult hurled at you became fuel for a greater performance. Every whisper of doubt transformed into a rallying cry for self-worth. In the end, they may have cast you as the villain, but you emerged as the hero of your own story, brilliant, unbreakable, and undeniably real. Your script isn't just rewritten, it's legendary. You were built to carry the weight of blame, as if your shoulders were designed solely for bearing the world's disappointments. They handed you the burden without hesitation, expecting you to crumble under the pressure. But what they didn't anticipate was your capacity for reinvention, the alchemy that transforms blame into glory. Glory isn't handed out to the quiet or the compliant. It belongs to those who fight fiercely for it. You took every accusation, every whispered criticism, and stacked them like bricks to construct a fortress of triumph. Where others saw shame, you saw a foundation for greatness. Where they saw an ending, you saw a beginning. Think of history's greatest legends, those who were vilified, misunderstood, and cast aside, yet rose above the ashes to claim their crown. Your story aligns with theirs. You are not an outcast, but a phoenix, rebuilding yourself stronger and more magnificent with every trial. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It demands courage, sweat, and the willingness to face your fears head-on. But with every step, you're reclaiming your narrative and proving that being built for blame was just a setup for an epic comeback. Rebuilt for glory, you've not only survived their judgment, you've transcended it. Your brilliance now shines as a beacon for others who've been broken but refuse to stay down. Shame is a weapon they wielded against you, hoping it would silence your spirit and dim your light. They wanted you to shrink, to hide away in embarrassment and doubt. But instead of falling into the shadows, you ignited a spectacle so dazzling it left them breathless. You didn't just respond to shame, you transformed it into a breathtaking fireworks display of defiance. Imagine a night sky bursting with color and light, unexpected and beautiful. That's exactly what you became. Every spark represented a moment they thought they had won, every explosion a refusal to be diminished. Instead of letting shame confine you, you expanded beyond their grasp. This is the power of embracing your own worth, taking their insults and turning them into a celebration of who you truly are. When they aimed to make you small, you made yourself larger than life. Your courage was the kind that reverberates, shaking foundations and demanding attention. They underestimated your capacity to dazzle in the face of darkness. You took the shame meant to chain you and made it your personal fireworks show, something unforgettable, radiant, and unstoppable. In doing so, you not only reclaimed your dignity, but showed the world the transformative strength of resilience. Your fireworks light the path for everyone watching, proving shame is powerless against a soul on fire. Once marked as the easy target, the weak link, or the problem child, you have evolved into a titan, standing tall and unyielding. The world anticipated your downfall, expecting you to crumble under pressure. Instead, you harnessed every challenge as a stepping stone, turning attacks into armor and criticism into catalysts for growth. Being a target feels isolating. It's a relentless barrage that wears down even the strongest. Yet, in those moments of vulnerability, you discovered an inner strength that reshaped your entire being. You became more than a survivor. You became a force to be reckoned with. Your transformation is not just physical or superficial. It's a profound metamorphosis of mind and spirit. Like a great tree growing through the cracks in concrete, your roots dug deeper with every hardship, grounding you firmly in resilience and purpose. This change startled your detractors, who never expected the one they mocked to rise and dominate. They mistook your quiet endurance for weakness, but it was merely the calm before a powerful storm. Now, as a titan, you lead with conviction and inspire through your example. Your journey from target to titan is a testament to the extraordinary human capacity to transcend adversity. You are a living proof that even the harshest trials can forge greatness. Scandals fade like gossip, but storms reshape the landscape. They branded you a scandal, a spectacle of chaos to be dissected and dismissed. But you were never the fleeting headline. You were the storm itself, fierce and transformative, changing everything in your wake. Scandals are meant to shame and isolate, but storms command attention and demand respect. You didn't just weather their judgment, you unleashed a powerful force that swept away their misconceptions and left the world irrevocably changed. There is a raw beauty in storms, the way they bring renewal, clear the air, and reveal truths hidden beneath the surface. You embodied this elemental power, unafraid to disrupt and dismantle the narratives designed to confine you. Rather than shrinking into shame or retreating into silence, you embraced your tempestuous nature. You understood that being misunderstood was often the price of challenging complacency and provoking growth. Your storm is ongoing, a dynamic force that refuses to be contained or controlled. It's a reminder that true strength lies not in avoiding conflict, but in harnessing it to create new beginnings. In their quest for control, they sought to silence your voice, to mute your story, until it was nothing more than a whisper lost in the crowd. But silence was never an option for you. Instead, you composed a symphony, complex, powerful, and impossible to ignore. Each note in your symphony was a declaration of existence, a refusal to be erased or forgotten. Your voice carried the weight of pain, hope, defiance, and triumph, weaving them together into a masterpiece that resonated far beyond the confines they tried to impose. They underestimated the richness of your story, the depth of your emotions, and the strength of your convictions. Like a symphony, your journey was full of crescendos and quiet moments, each essential to the whole. It was a work of art born from struggle and resilience. By embracing your truth so fully, you created a soundscape that challenged their attempts at suppression. You taught them that silence cannot be forced on a soul that refuses to be quieted. Your symphony continues to play, inspiring others to find their own voices and create their own melodies of courage and authenticity. They built a stage with the intention of making you the center of ridicule, a public spectacle meant to break your spirit. But when the spotlight shone on you, you didn't falter. Instead, you took the microphone and commanded the audience with confidence, turning humiliation into empowerment. The fear of public judgment can be paralyzing. Yet, standing there with all eyes on you, you found an unexpected strength. You transformed vulnerability into a performance of authenticity and courage, captivating those who once doubted you. This moment was more than just a display of bravery. It was a reclaiming of power. Taking the mic symbolized your refusal to be silenced or shamed. It was your opportunity to tell your story on your terms, in your voice, with your truth. Your presence became a statement that no amount of mockery could dim your light. You showed that the stage isn't a trap, but a platform, one where you decide what is seen and heard. In claiming that microphone, You turned an needed downfall into an unforgettable triumph, inspiring others to rise and speak their own truths. Responding to adversity is one thing. Performing under its weight is another entirely. You didn't merely react. You put on a show, an intentional and dazzling display of resilience and strength that left onlookers awestruck. A performance demands preparation, skill, and heart. You poured all of these into your response, crafting a narrative that was as compelling as it was truthful. It was not a defensive retreat, but a bold advance into the spotlight. This wasn't about proving others wrong. It was about proving yourself right. Every gesture, every word was part of a larger masterpiece showcasing your unbreakable spirit. Performing under pressure takes immense courage. You faced the crowd with your fears laid bare and transformed them into fuel for your greatest act. Yet, your performance wasn't just for show. It was a declaration that your story is worth telling, and your light too bright to be dimmed. They laughed at you in the dark, whispered cruel judgments behind closed doors, hoping their words would fade into obscurity. But when the spotlight found you, their whispers turned to stares, their mockery magnified into undeniable visibility, and you owned it. Being mocked in the shadows can erode confidence, but it can also build steel resolve. You took those moments of quiet cruelty and turned them into sources of strength, emerging with a glow that no darkness could conceal. The spotlight exposed every flaw they tried to exploit. Yet instead of hiding, you magnified your presence. You made your vulnerabilities visible and powerful, showing the world that imperfections are not weaknesses, but marks of authenticity. Their attempts to shame you only amplified your voice. The more they tried to diminish you, the brighter you shone, illuminating truths they wished to keep hidden. You transformed mockery into magnetism, proving that the best revenge is living unapologetically and beautifully in the light. They aimed to bury you under dirt and disgrace, to cover your name with mud and make you forget your worth. But instead of sinking, you sifted through the dirt, found precious stones beneath, and built yourself a throne, a symbol of your triumph and sovereignty. The metaphorical dirt represents all the lies, betrayals, and judgments hurled your way. Many would have let it weigh them down, but you saw it as raw material, a challenge to rise above and transform adversity into majesty. Constructing a throne from the very earth meant to trap you requires patience and vision. You pieced together your strength, dignity, and resilience with care, creating a seat from which you now rule your life. Your throne is not a mere symbol of power. It's a monument to survival, a testament to the fact that what was meant to bury you only made you grow taller. Sitting on that throne, you remind the world and yourself that you are the architect of your destiny, crowned by your courage and crowned with your truth. They tried to rewrite your reality, distort your perceptions, and make you doubt your own truth. Their gaslighting was meant to confuse and control, but it only ignited a spectacular display of self-awareness and brilliance, your personal pyrotechnics. Gaslighting is a cruel form of manipulation designed to make victims question their sanity and worth. But instead of succumbing, you used their lies as the fuse to light up your own sky with explosive clarity. Each flash of your pyrotechnics was a rejection of their falsehoods, a dazzling affirmation of your identity and experiences. You didn't just see through the smoke, you burned brighter through it. Your internal fire, fueled by their attempts to diminish you, became a mesmerizing show of defiance and truth. It's a reminder that the brightest lights often come from the darkest places. In turning their gaslighting into pyrotechnics, you claimed your power and set a spectacular example for anyone who's ever been made to question themselves. What started as whispered gossip behind closed doors transformed into a gospel that resounded loudly and clearly. Your truth, once doubted and dismissed, now echoes through halls and hearts alike, carrying the power to inspire and ignite change. Gossip is fleeting and shallow, but gospel is profound and enduring. You took the rumors and transformed them into messages of hope, resilience, and authenticity that demand to be heard. Your story has become a beacon, guiding those who have felt silenced or misunderstood toward courage and self-acceptance. The whispers have turned into anthems sung by those who see themselves in your journey. This transition from gossip to gospel is the ultimate victory, proof that the narratives others try to control can be reclaimed and transformed into powerful truths. Your voice now carries weight and reverence, and your story serves as a foundation for others to build their own. They were waiting for you to fall apart, expecting your spirit to shatter under the strain. Instead, you surprised everyone by delivering a coronation, a crowning moment that celebrated your strength, resilience, and undeniable reign over your own life. Collapse is often seen as inevitable in the face of overwhelming pressure, but you redefined the outcome. Where they foresaw ruin, you created triumph, a ceremonial rise that honored your journey and your growth. Your coronation is not about vanity or ego. It's about reclaiming your power with grace and dignity. It's the moment you stand tall, fully aware of your scars and victories, and declare yourself victorious.